format is that they have fences at exactly the same height as two-star, exactly the same technical demands as two-star, but it is a shorter distance around the track. But there are quite often nearly as many fences. Thus, it is a more intense test, but it is not quite such a far distance. It's often used as a build-up competition, a CIC, towards a major CCI. And of course, we have a competition in that format for 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star here today in our FEI divisions. Our CCI 3-star here in Montana is one of just 5 such events in the whole of North America. That's Canada and the USA together only have 5 CCI 3-stars. The Young Riders is a continental championships for riders under 21. It's a very prestigious championships. We see a lot of North American young rider and junior medalists, team and individual, going on to great things, representing their countries, Canada, the United States and Mexico, in major championships. And it is cross-discipline as well, with Old Salem Farm due to hold the dressage and show jumping North American Youth Championships in just a couple of weeks' time. So the course here at Rebecca Farm, designed by Ian Stark, and for the Young Rider Championships, the CIC 2-star track, 3,550 meters in length, 550 meters a minute is the rate of advance. So that's going to give us an optimum time of 6 minutes 28 seconds. They need to come home inside that time of 6 minutes 28 to avoid incurring time penalties. Time penalties coming in at the rate of 0.4 for every second over the optimum time. So after dressage, over the last 2 days, Madeline Licton holds 10th position in the division. Tosca Holmes-Smith, last year's Continental Junior Champion for Canada, is in individual 9th in the Young Riders. 4th time at these championships with 4 different horses for Tosca Holmes-Smith. Ryan Keefe and Flint Star from Area 2, they are in 8th. Katie Licton, Sapphire Blue Bee in 7th after dressage. Olivia Dutton and Mr. Medicott in 6th. Red Rocks Jazzman, ridden by Delaney Vaden, in 5th. In 4th, Katie Licton and RF Luminati. That's going to be her team horse. In 3rd position, Cambalda, Tim and Nina Gardner's wonderful US Horse of the Year a couple of years ago with Alexa Lapp. In silver medal position overnight, Ideal Contini, ridden by Taylor Stewart, and the gold medalist overnight is Ballingowan Pizzazz, ridden by Alexandra Bohr, and they will be the first out on course today, so it's all to play for right from the get-go of the Adequan FEI North American Youth Championships presented by Gotham North. Team medals up for grabs as well. Currently in bronze medal position is the Area 6 team of Mallory Hogan, Madison Temkin, Kaylee Sapper, and Lisa Takada. In silver medal position, Alexandra Bohr, Katie Licton, Greta Schwickert, and Hannah Jane Morris, combined team for Area 1 up there in New England, Area 4 and Area 8. And the Area 2 team from Pennsylvania all the way down to North Carolina, Area 2. They're on 97.9, and that's Taylor Stewart with Ideal Contini, Alexa Lapp, Cambalda, Olivia Dutton, Mr. Petticott, and Ryan Keefe and Flint Star. And as you've just heard, all 4 of those riders, best 3 scores to count, but all 4 of the Area 2 riders after dressage are top 10. So with cross-country going to get underway in just a few moments' time, could we ask you, please, if you are out walking the course for a later division, that you do be aware that the course is about to go live. I can assure you that if you've ridden to an Olympics and you're riding here at CCI 3-star, it will not stop you being mown down by a young rider horse. If you're on the track and you don't quite know which way to make it, just walk to the edge of the mown strip or walk to the nearest piece of stringing, and therefore you will at the very least be at the edge of the track. If you are crossing the track here to get out to some of the major spectator areas, including the control mount, please do use the crossing points. These are the safest places because they are manned. Volunteers will safely cross you between the competing horses. As we said before, Montana is a long way from nearly everywhere, but it's such a destination event. We have about 750 competitors here this weekend, but you can imagine the journey it has taken in every sense of the word to get here to this event, and we want them to have the best possible experience. So dogs on leads, please, controlled on leads. We don't want to see loose dogs chasing horses. We don't want to see people roaming around in front of fences. Please do use those crossing points. And we are guests here of the Broussard family as well, and what hosts they are. So to that end, please, if you do generate any litter, take it away with you from the cross-country course. But other than that, this is a sport where you can get up close to the action, and we really do recommend that you do so. Come out and enjoy cross-country here in the beautiful Big Sky country. So our first competitor is away. On course, Alexandra Bohr and Ballingowan Pizzazz. Alexandra, who was a silver medalist at the North American Junior Young Rider Championships here at Rebecca Farm last year. With this horse, Ballingowan Pizzazz, they took that silver medal. Did very well at the Fork CIC 2-star this year. And Ballingowan Pizzazz, a former Pan American gold medalist. Mango, as he's known at home. So taking on the first couple of fences on course, the Train and Brush Oxer. 1 and 2. Going on to the third on course now, the Oxer, before they go around behind this spinney. Alexandra and Balangao Pizzazz in individual gold medal position on 30.8. So if they go clear and inside the time, they've locked that down for the rest of the day. But it is close. And of course, show jumping still to come tomorrow. And of course, one of the ultimate tests for these eventers, probably the second most important test in our sport after the cross country, is the production of a horse out through the horse inspection on Sunday morning, ready, willing and able to jump a course of fences and leave them standing. Going out to the very far side of the property now towards fence 7, A, B and C, the Normandy Bank, is our trailblazer, Alexandra Ball. Nicely on and off the Normandy Bank and then over the third element as well on the turning line. A tough technical question early on the track, a real trademark of Ian Stark tracks though. As technical as they might seem, they will always reward forward riding. Balangao Pizzazz, who said was the Pan American gold medalist with the US team. Shannon Lilly in the irons down in Guadalajara in 2011. And this next fence on course now, this the Tracana. Pops that, just goes a little bit through this hollow on their way to the next, which is the Farmyard, a beautifully decorated combination just below us. And then those of you out here on Spectator Hill, we're going to make you work hard as they come through the water as well. We want to hear your applause for a good round from our first rider here. Area 8 rider. So it jumps in over the pickup trailer. We've got our second on course. We're just watching Alexandra, gold medalist overnight, through the 3 elements of the Farmyard. So in over the duck. Splish splash. And popping out. Give that a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Support these young riders. They are representing, all entitled now to their US team shields as young riders, which they'll proudly wear. As we say, our second is on course, number 728, Kaylee Sapper and Tuscan Sun, 14th after dressage on 38.1, but you can see that range there. 30.8 is leading, 38.1 is 14th. It's very, very close indeed. For instance, if they stayed on those scores, that would be the cost of just 2 poles down tomorrow. Kaylee's over behind the spinney, taking on 5 A, B and C, the Smiley Log to double of Dinosaurs. Kaylee Sapper from Area 6, down there in California, was a junior team gold medalist here at Rebecca Farm last year. And is a former winner here of the Junior Young Rider Open Preliminary at Rebecca as well. So Tuscan Sun, known as Tuck, just heading on the long gallop out now towards the Normandy Bank at fence 7, whilst behind us is Alexandra Ball, Balangao and Pizzazz. So they'll have jumped the Rock Henge, the Montana Rock Henge coming up from the water. They go onto the cabin, the rail ditch rail combination. The coffin, as we rather gruesomely call it in our sport, over there at fence 13, unlucky for some. And the Honey Bear table, the second water on course now. The Snake Brush and Gator Bait down there at fence 15. It's the Louisiana Bayou down there. The second water complex, and Alexandra is safely through it. Coming to the Rock Oxer here to controls left-hand side. Just going a little steadily here. She's just balancing the horse coming down the hill to the next combination, the Cavalry Camp. Clear through the Cavalry Camp now. just opens up the gallop as well. Look at this very, very experienced horse just eating up the ground on their way over to the western town. Kaylee Sapper, Tuscan Sun, in the meantime, they're over the Tricana in the middle of the course, coming to the farmyard. So we've got 2 to keep our eyes on. Now we've got 3. The third one goes out of the start box today. That's going to be Ryan Keefe. Ryan with Flint Star. For Area 2, Flint Star was an Olympic team bronze medalist for New Zealand at the London Games with Janelle Price, one of the all-star horses on the Area 2 team. But Alexandra Bohr in gold medal position after dressage passes the Halt Cancer at X pink ribbon to complete. Whilst down here at the water, ladies and gentlemen, your second one to support today, Tuscan Sun and Kaylee Sapper, a West Coaster from Area 6, California. There we go, through the water. So we'll get a score back in a moment for Alexandra and Ballingowan Pizzazz, but they've certainly cleared all the jumps as far as we could see. Ryan Keefe, our newest starter, and Flint Star. Ryan from Area 2 is a student at the University of Kentucky. Won the intermediate at Carolina International at Rayford, North Carolina this spring. So 6 minutes 24 on the clock. So Alexandra Bohr and Ballingowan Pizzazz are going to finish today as gold medalists as well. They will go into show jumping tomorrow in the lead. They will jump last for the gold in the North American Young Rider Championships, part of the Adequan FEI North American Youth Championships presented by Gotham North. As well as Adequan and Gotham North, our thanks to US Equestrian and Equestrian Canada for their support to these championships. On their way out to the Normandy Bank now is Flint Star and Ryan Keefe. Ryan is the first we see out from the all-conquering Area 2. Area 2 are the team leaders in dressage in both the juniors and the young riders. Clear fence 15, the Louisiana Bayou for our second today. Kaylee Sapper and Tuscan Sun, team rider for Area 6. This, looking back over to the Normandy Bank, isn't Flint Star's first time at the Youth Championships. Took an individual silver back in 2014. Kaylee Sapper, Tuscan Sun, coming down now into the cavalry camp. Bert Wood and his team, realizing Ian Stark's designs, they put their heart and soul into the decoration of these fences, and it shows each and every year. Tuscan Sun still looking full of run, coming towards the western town. And we have a new starter, the grey, out and over the steam train, the transcontinental there, that passes through Kalispell and Glacier National Park on its way from Chicago out to Seattle. Over the last, the Stars and Stripes last for our second of the day, Kaylee Sapper and Tuscan Sun. Over the duck now, just taking this slight right-hand bending line out and over the skinny brush at the water. Our third of the day, Flint Star and Ryan Keefe, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you can make more noise than that. Come on, these are young riders, come all the way here for their championships. Give them lots of support. $38.1 penalties is the tariff after dressage for Greta Schwickert, who is our latest starter. We just see the grey going on towards fence 5, A, B, and C, the smiley log to double a dinosaurs. Greta, who's going up to the University of Minnesota. Greta Schwickert rides F.E. Charles Owen here on the team. Greta is an Area 4 young rider. Did very well at the Fork and the Carolina International this spring as a combination. So 6:24 for our first of the day. Alexandra Bohr on the clock. Kaylee Sapper, 6:26 we're told. So the time is very gettable for these first riders. But in terms of team tactics, the area coaches, they will put their best cross-country riders out first to come back and prove and give lots of information to the second, third and fourth rider rotation. Often then you find that the best dressage scores are going third or fourth in the team rotation. Alexandra Bohr is just the exception that proves that rule. The trailblazer across country for the entire competition is also the dressage leader. Clear fence 16, the Rock Ox are here just behind us, Ryan Keefe and Flint Star. Through the cavalry camp now as well, so the Olympic horse Flint Star, part of the Area 2 team, leading after dressage, heading just a couple of fences from home. Over the Trakehner at fence 7 in the meantime for Greta Schwickert and Charles Owen. This horse came from Dom Schramm, FE Charles Owen, with the FE prefix as well, sourced from by Clayton Fredericks, Australian Olympian, over from Germany. And in fact, Greta has been riding this horse just since May 2017, so built up a partnership very, very quickly to take them all the way to the international intermediate level. Ryan Keefe and Flint Star safely home. We'll get the time back in a few moments. But looking pretty good for them here through the water. Greta Schwickert, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Your first through the water for Area 4. And we have a new starter. Lisa Takada. Lisa, team rider with Wishbone. Lisa is an Area 6 young rider at the University of Southern California. Had a second place finish in the CIC2 star at Aspen Farm in June of this year. 6 minutes and 18 seconds for the big galloping Flint Star there, and Ryan Keefe to come home 10 seconds onto the optimum. But certainly these young riders showing a lot of maturity in their riding so far. Certainly none of them going far too fast, and just getting the benefit of the way this ground has been so beautifully prepared for cross-country here this week. We've seen the team out working very hard, watering, maintaining, and preparing. Not just this week, but over the course of 12 months here, the Rebecca Farm staff. Lisa Takada and Wishbone. Wishbone, we've seen with Tammy Smith before. Tammy's no stranger to success here at Rebecca Farms. 10-year-old Holsteiner horse. Over out the Normandy Bank, fence 7 for Wishbone and Lisa Takada. We're already into the second team rider rotation now. We do have a few individuals, but actually in the young riders, it is mostly second horses. So they have to ride the horse that they're going to represent their team on out first. So we're rattling through the team rider rotation. Just 3 teams in the young riders this year. Down at the Louisiana Bayou, fence 15, Greta Schwickert and Charles Owen. They'll come to the Rock Oxer here to our left-hand side in just a moment, just above the Trade Village. Don't forget, if you haven't been down there, to check out the Trade Village. Over the Trakehner at 7 for latest starter Lisa Takada and Wishbone. Greta Schwickert and Charles Owen aiming up for the last. They pop over it, they get in a little bit close, but they're on to home. Again, passing that Halt Cancer at X finish flag. So clear the farmyard. Lisa Takada, Wishbone, number 731, coming to the water. 6 minutes 19 was the finishing time for Greta Schwickert. So again, inside the time, staying on their dressage score. Applause there at the water for Lisa Takada and Wishbone. And we've got a new starter, Ideal Contini, ridden by Katie Licton from Area 1 up there in New England. Ideal Contini, 31.2. They are in silver medal position overnight. Katie Licton, who attends Davidson College, was a apologies, after Lisa Takada and Wishbone. Taylor Stewart, Ideal Contini, as we said, second after the dressage on 31.2. They are over at fence 5 or so, clear 5 ABC and 6 now. We see them on their way to the Normandy Bank at 7. Lisa Takada and Wishbone. KFN 16, the Rock Ox, are going down the hill to the cavalry camp, just getting a really nice canter here to set up for these jumps over by the main arena. Lovely job through there, Lisa Takada for Area 6. Not going pell-mell along here now towards the western camp. Perhaps they know that they've got a little bit of time in hand against that 6 minutes 28 optimum. Over at the farmyard, going at a much different pace, is new starter, Ideal Contini, Taylor Stewart. Remember, Taylor wants to stay right in touch with the leader, Alexandra Bohr. Silver medal overnight for Taylor Stewart, Ideal Contini. They come to the water. So in over the duck, jumps that right to left, creates the curving line, then back out over this skinny. There we are, riding for second place overnight to keep right in touch with the leader, Taylor Stewart and Ideal Contini. We've got a new starter as well, Katie Licton and RF Luminati. Fourth on 32.9 for Katie, who, as I was saying earlier on, is a student at Davidson College, has been a top 10 finisher in juniors before on 2 occasions. Six minutes, 36 seconds there for Lisa Takada and Wishbone. So the first time penalties of the day, they are going to be 8 seconds over, so that's 3.2 time penalties. So that'll put them on 42.4 penalties. Taylor Stewart and Ideal Contini clear. Fence 14, the Honey Bear table, after the Coffin Complex at 13, A, B, and C. So 2 on course at the moment. Taylor Stewart, Ideal Contini, going up the back straight towards the Louisiana Bayou, whilst Katie Licton and RF Luminati over at fence 7, the Normandy Bank. Jumping on and off the banker now. We just saw, we were waiting for our fence judge, who's the eyes right on the ground, to confirm it, but it was a run out at the C element, unfortunately, for Katie Licton and RF Luminati, and that will change things a little bit, because Luminati and Katie, they were holding 4th after dressage, so that'll drop them right down the order. The team riders as well for the combined team. They're an Area 1 rider. Over here at the cavalry camp, Taylor Stewart and Ideal Contini. Remember, they want to be inside this 6 minutes 28 seconds optimum time. And when you compare this gallop to Lisa Takada's a moment ago, you know that she knows that. So clear both parts of the Western Village, a little bit sticky out over the last part up there on the mount. Just coming to the last. One more jumping effort to slot it into second place overnight. Taylor Stewart and Ideal Contini are rough guesstimates suggest they're going to be inside the time. We'll get the official time in just a moment. Ooh! A cat leap in over the pickup trailer down there at the farmyard. A much nicer jump over the middle skinny and over the tractor bonnet. The horse just really looking at those fences. What will this horse do when asked to jump a duck? 6 minutes 20 was the time on our last finisher. So again, inside the time allowed, they're going to stay in second position. Well, a nice jump, in fact, through the water for Katie Licton and RF Luminati. So Katie Licton and RF Luminati go to the Montana Rock Henge next up. We're going to have Maddie Temkin on course next. Clear fence 5 for Madison, riding Dr. Hart, team rider for Area 6. Maddie, who's been a top 5 finisher in the Junior Championships back in 2015. 4th place individually in the Young Riders last year here at Rebecca Farm. So Madison Temkin and Dr. Hart galloping out now towards the Normandy Bank at 7, whilst down behind us we're hearing reports from fence 13 that Katie Licton and RF Luminati are through that and heading down the back straight towards the Louisiana Bayou at fence 15. Olivia Dutton and Mr. Medicott leave the start box 6th on 34.1 after dressage. So we've got 3 out here in our view. Coming through the farmyard, we've got Maddie Temkin and Dr. Hart. Coming towards home, we've got Katie Licton and RF Luminati, of course, carrying those 20 penalties from the Normandy Bank. They're just on towards home. Here at the water, Maddie Temkin, Area 6. Spots a nice one in over the duck. Takes one of the tightest curving lines here to this skinny. Very, very good riding there from Maddie Temkin as she goes up the hill now towards the Montana Rock Henge. Our newest starter there a moment ago was Olivia Dutton and Mr. Medicott. Dutton and Mr. Medicott, what names to play with. Mr. Medicott, a gold medalist for Germany at the 2008 Games, an Olympian for the United States at the 2012 Games, and then with Philip, he was the national USEF 4-star champion at the Kentucky 3-day. Olivia, been riding this horse now for a little while. They did some jumpers down in Wellington, Florida this spring. Six minutes, 44 seconds, so 6.4 time penalties by our reckoning for Katie Licton and RF Luminati. 39.3 penalties for them with the time plus the 20-foot jumping, so that'll be 59.3 their score after cross-country provisional. Madison Temkin is our furthest around the track, should be in the area of the coffin fence 13, whilst over there at fence 7 we see Olivia Dutton and Mr. Medicott. Madison Temkin, Dr. Hart clear the Louisiana Bayou. The second water, they go on from there now to the Rock Oxer here on our left-hand side. Madison Temkin and Dr. Hart, are they looking good on the clock as they jump the western, the cavalry camp and go on now to the western village? Olivia Dutton, Mr. Medicott clear the Tricana in the middle of the course. Over by the irrigation arm, they come on to the farmyard. Our new starter, number 736, Tosca Holmes-Smith and Tom Riddle for Canada. Tosca from British Columbia is the reigning North American junior individual gold medalist from this event last year. And Maddie Temkin and Dr. Hart home, we think, though, over that 6 minutes, 28 seconds optimum time. Olivia Dutton and Mr. Medicott just gathering up Big Cave as they jump over the tractor bonnet, getting them to lock on now to the flags at this duck. Just screwed a little bit out over the brush panel. Olivia now gets behind this big horse as they set up for the Montana Rock Henge. A nice confidence building jump there now as they head on to the next meaty section of the course for that combination. Olivia and Mr. Medicott in individual sixth and part of the Area 2 team that are in gold medal position. So we actually, with Mr. Medicott and Olivia Dutton, get to the third rider rotation. They are the final rider in the third rider rotation. We've got some individuals, and then it is the fourth rider rotation. Tosca Holmes-Smith over there on the way to the Normandy Bank, as we were saying earlier on. Defending junior champion. Well, she can't defend because she's not in that division. She's in the Young Riders this year. But this is her fourth time at the Youth Championships with 4 different horses. Following in the footsteps of father, who was a good international eventer for Canada in the 80s. And clear all 3 parts of the Normandy Bank. Olivia Dutton out of Louisiana Bayou. And unfortunately, 20 penalties for Olivia down there at fence 15. Now clear at the second time of asking. But unfortunately, therefore, 6th place after dressage. That will affect their individual chances. It was the very first element, unfortunately, that gave them the problem. Olivia and Mr. Medicott carrying those 20 penalties. Probably pick up some time penalties now as well. Sounds like Mr. Medicott maybe jumped in quite big. Olivia needed to circle. It was between A and B that they circled and picked up their 20 penalties. Clear over the steam train. Number 737, Sophie Tice and Mojo. Sophie, an individual rider for Area 6, is on 41.6 penalties as they go to the second on course, the Brush Oxer. Now they just steer a little bit left towards the next. Nice support there for Tosca Holmes-Smith and Tom Riddle, the Canadian rider, through the water. The duck to Skinny and going on to the Montana Rock Henge next up there at fence 11. Olivia Dutton and Mr. Medicott jumping the two parts of the Western Town. Just one fence to go. For Olivia, daughter of three-time Olympic gold medalist Philip Dutton. And of course, Olympic bronze medalist in his own right at the Rio Games as well. So clear fence 5, that's the first combination on track, the Smiley log to double of dinosaurs over behind the spinny wood. For new starter Sophie Tyson Mojo, the individuals from Area 6. Sophie, who's a student at Monte Vista High School, rode in the juniors here at Rebecca Farm last year, and part of the Eventing 18 2018 training list. They were winners at the October Woodside Intermediate, and they completed a 2-star at the March Galway Downs International. No, Leslie Law, British Olympic gold medalist, who runs those youth training programs for US Equestrian, here with us this weekend, keeping a very close eye on his E18 and E25 riders. Yeah, a refusal at the third element there of the Normandy Bank for Sophie Tice and Mojo. That's starting to rear its head as an influential fence on this CIC 2-star track. It is only the young riders who jump this track in this configuration. Our other 2-star division is long format, so a different course for them. It is the division we go on to. .8 time penalties for Olivia Dutton and the 20 jumping, so it'll be 34.8 penalties for them. You can keep up to date with all of the scores on Start Box Scoring. Remember, the Adequan FEI North American Youth Championships presented by Gotham North are a separate event here at Rebecca. So if you're in Start Box Scoring, you need to select it as a different show. If you're looking at scores for the Rebecca Farm event, you won't find the young riders or juniors in there. So a finisher. And the finisher is Tosca Holmes-Smith and Tom Riddle. Now, 9th after dressage on 36 penalties. The score still puts them in touch. The ranking might not suggest it, but I think actually coming up from 7th or 8th after dressage to the individual gold last year in the juniors. Sophie Tyson Mojo clear through the water, going on to the Montana Rock Henge. You're doing a great job here at the water, ladies and gentlemen. Shouting your support over to the finishers and cheering for them coming through the water. Keep it up. It really just does mean so much to these competitors. You can't believe the effort that goes into every one of our competitors today in the international divisions and any division getting here to Montana. But for these young riders and juniors, your support means everything for the long hours before school or after school riding. Getting the support from mom and dad, getting the support from the trainer, getting the support from the area coach, the area chef to keep on the long journey that takes them through selection and then the long physical journey here to Montana. The Honey Bear table at fence 14. Safely in the rearview mirror now for Mojo and Sophie Tice. Heather Jane Morris, Yos UFO de Kidam, taking us into the 4th team rider rotation. 40.1 penalties for this combination. Heather Jane Morris, who's just completed her freshman year at the University of Kentucky. Go Big Blue. Heather Jane's ridden twice at the American Eventing Championships with good results. And this horse, Yos UFO de Quidam, was with Jose Ortelli Jr. down in Argentina. Heather and UFO completed at the North American Junior Young Rider Championships in 2016, and then took most of the following year off before picking back up the reins in August 2017. So 3 horses out there at the farmyard. Yos UFO de Quidam. At the Western Village here, the other side of the road, Sophie Tice and Mojo. And then just started number 739, Mallory Hogan, with Clarissa Purisima, team rider for Area 6. Yos UFO de Quidam. Through the water, there we are. Round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. Over the last and safely home for Sophie Tice and Mojo. Of course, they had those problems over at the Normandy Bank, the second or third to have problems there so far today. Clear fence 11, the Montana Rock Henge for Yos UFO de Quidam and Heather Jane Morris. Well, Sophie Tice and Mojo, they weren't too slow, just 4 seconds over the optimum, so 1.6 time penalties plus 20 jumping penalties to go on to their score. They're the 3 elements of the coffin, 13A, B, and C. Heather Jane Morris, Yos UFO de Quidam, Mallory Hogan, Clarissa Purisima. Taking on 5A, B, and C. Clear fence 15, the Louisiana Bayou. Heather Jane Morris, Yos UFO de Quidam. Over at the Normandy Bank now, we have Mallory Hogan with Clarissa Purisima. Got this horse at the end of her 7th grade year. Over the following 4 years, they've done training preliminary 1-star and 2-star competitions together. They competed here at the North American Youth Championships, finishing on their dressage score and part of the Area 16 that won gold and an individual bronze for Mallory here last year as well, with Clarissa Purisima. So they've jumped 7A, B, and C and come on now to fence 8, the Tricana in the middle of the course. Whilst through the cavalry camp here on my left-hand side, Yos UFO de Quidam, ridden by Heather Jane Morris. Heather Jane, beautiful gallop from this horse. Just jumps the big stick pile there on the mound a little bit by Braille, gives it a feel with all 4 hooves, but they are clear, and pops out over the last as well. So, Heather Jane Morris, Yos UFO de Quidam, safely home. That's going to give us our first full team score in just a moment. We have the 2 other team riders out there, so we'll just let them get home and then look at the total shape of things in the team division after day 2 of competition going into show jumping tomorrow. 6 minutes 15, we're told, so well inside the time. As the stripy hat colours of Mallory Hogan, Clarissa Purisima make it through the water here just below us and stride out now towards the Montana Rock Henge at 11. Alexa Lapp is on course with Cambalda, 3rd, bronze medal position on 32.6 penalties. Alexa Lapp, who's completed the 2-star at Jockey Club in Ocala, Florida, and took a 3rd place in the CIC 2-star at Jersey Fresh this spring. Cambaldo has been a 4-star horse for the US. Saw him over at Poe in Europe, as well as, of course, at the Kentucky Horse Park. And a winner twice with Jenny Brannigan of the individual classification of the Great Meadow Nations Cup. And great to have Tim and Nina Gardner here to support this horse this weekend. Been such a tremendous source of fun for Tim and Nina. I know all owners feel that way about their horses. And actually, Cambaldo, had a travel grant to come and contest the 3-star here about 4 years ago. Well, it was exactly 3 years ago because it was the year of the Toronto Pan Ams, and instead Kambalda steered the way of the Pan Am Games for the US. Clear, 7, A, B, and C, the Normandy Bank for Alexa Lapp and Kambalda. Clear fence 13, A, B, and C. Clarissa Purisima and Mallory Hogan. They go on to the Honey Bear table and then on to the Louisiana Bayou. The second of the water fences on course here at Rebecca Farm. Clear through the farmyard then for Kambalda and Alexa Lapp. Delaney Vaden has left the start box with Red Rocks Jazzman. And safely home, Mallory Hogan, Clarissa Purisima. So Kambalda is the only team horse left out on course through the water for Kambalda. And Alexa Lapp going up the hill to the Montana Rock Henge. And remember, they are in bronze medal position overnight. 32.6. 6 minutes 26 was Clarissa Purisima and Mallory Hogan's time, so they are 2 seconds inside. They'll stay on their dressage score of 37.2. They were 12th after dressage, but should easily move up into the top 10 now. Delaney Vaden, Red Rocks Jazzman setting up for fence 5, A, B, and C. Delaney and Red Rocks Jazzman have been at the Fairhill 2-star, the Bromont 2-star. They've won Team Gold at North American Junior Young Riders and Team Bronze, and they are part of the E18 Emerging Athletes program as well. Clear fence 14. That's the Honey Bear table, setting up for the second water now, the Louisiana Bayou, Kambalda and Alexa Lapp. Clear fence 6 on their way out now, the long gallop out towards the Normandy Bank. Red Rocks Jazzman and Delaney Vaden. Delaney and Red Rocks Jazzman 5th on 33.3 penalties after dressage, so this is one to watch. Riding as an individual. So clear the Rock Oxer at 16. Kambalda going down into the cavalry camp. Can Area 2 hold on to their overnight lead as they go into the final day? Look at Kambalda. Ping. Open up here on this long, flat galloping stretch towards the western town. I'm sure when I first started coming here, it was a western village. So it has grown. Economic development here. Clear both elements up there on the mound, aiming for the last now. Alexa Lapp, Kambalda. Over the last and safely home for Area 2. Sources tell us that they're going to be inside the time. That'll be good news. I think no change to our top 3 overnight. Alexandra Ball, Ballingowan, Pizzazz, Taylor Stewart, Ideal Contini, and now Alexa Lapp and Kambalda holding on to their 3rd spot. 6 minutes 15. Very fast there for Kambalda and Alexa Lapp, but well ridden. Red Rocks Jazzman, Delaney Vaden. They're through the farmyard in the middle of the track there which means we also have a new starter, Maddie Licton with Yarrow. They're over the first three. But here at the water, Delaney Vaden, Red Rocks Jazzman, clear the brush panel. So provisional results in the team classification of the North American Young Riders. Area 2 remain leaders. 99.2 is their score. 109 in second place for Area 1, 4 and 8's combined team. And then the Area 6 team on 114.8 in bronze medal position. But very, very close there between the combined team and Area 6. That could be nip and tuck tomorrow. But Area 2 there sitting on a 10 penalty advantage. Red Rocks Jazzman, Delaney Vaden, clear fence 14, the Honey Bear table. Maddie Licton and Yarrow. Maddie, a student at Davidson College, won the Open Intermediate at Chat Hills April Horse Trials, and they're in Georgia. Yarrow and Maddie Licton are clear of the Normandy Bank at 7 A, B and C. They're top 10 after dressage on 36.2. So again, a clear and inside the time here today could make them a real possibility for individual medals come tomorrow. Chris Barnard will be designing the show jumping tracks for the championship and FEI divisions in the main ring over the course of the day tomorrow. I expect them to be pretty influential. Three of these group of individual riders from inside the top 10. Delaney Vaden, Maddie Licton both on course, and Katie Licton, who goes last with Sapphire Blue Bee, 7th after dressage. So the shape of this competition, we won't really know until the last horse and rider safely home. Got a new starter though. Alexandra Ball goes out this time with Mr. Candyman, 11th after dressage on 36.8. Alexandra's already been around this course once, clear and inside the time. So where are our three horses? Well, Maddie Licton and Yarrow have jumped through the water just below us, over the duck, whilst through the western camp, heading towards home, the western town, is Red Rocks Jazzman and Delaney Vaden. They clear the last, and we think they're going to be just into time. And Alexander Ball, Mr. Candyman, they're over the first 3 or 4 and heading to the first combination on course, the Smiley Log and Double of Dinosaurs at 5 A, B and C. .6 time penalties for Delaney Vaden and Red Rocks Jazzman. So that'll push them down the leaderboard a little bit in this Young Rider 2-star. Maddie Licton and Yarrow picking up problems over there at fence 15, the Bayou. 20 penalties on the card, so that's going to drop them out of the top 10, no doubt about that. Second refusal now, so 20 penalties for the first. If they have another problem at the same numbered fence, any effort of fence 15, it will be 40 further penalties. So they've now got 60 penalties suddenly coming in very close to home on the cross country here. And what a shame it is now. 3 refusals at fence 15 for Maddie Licton and Yarrow, and that therefore is elimination for them from the cross country here in the Young Riders of the Adequan FEI North American Youth Championships presented by Gotham North. New starter, Greta Schwickert and Matchless. Greta out once again, this time with the 16th place horse on 38.8, Matchless. Well, it's Alexandra Ball and Mr. Candyman coming here to the water below us, the ductor panel. Very clear through the water here below us. Alexandra Ball, remember, was our trailblazer today, did a super job of proving the way around this course to the extent that they've held on to their lead in the Young Rider Championships with Ballingar and Pizzazz. Alex now with Mr. Candyman on 36.8. That score will be good enough for a top 10, maybe even close to top 5 if they can go clear and inside the time today. There's been quite a shake-up in the top 10 here, including just recently with that unfortunate elimination for Maddie Licton and Yarrow. Greta Schwickert and Matchless on course. Matchless has been to the 2-star at Bromont this year, up there in Montreal. 5th in the intermediate at Pine Top and 25th in the 1-star at Carolina International. Carolina International, always a very close-fought competition. It's a big pre-season international before many of the big competitions like Jersey Fresh, like the Kentucky 3-Day. So clearly, Louisiana Bay, Alexandra Ball, Mr. Candyman, Greta Schwickert and Matchless just coming away from the Normandy Bank up there at fence 7, coming to the Trakehner at 8. So through the water here just below us, Greta Schwickert and Matchless. Alexandra Ball, Mr. Candyman safely home. They did, though, trigger the frangible device down at the Coffin Fence 13, so that'll be 11 penalties on the card for them, unfortunately. And the last Young Rider combination is on course. Katie Licton out once again, this time with Sapphire Blue Bee. Katie Licton and Sapphire Blue Bee clear the first 2 fences on course, going to the Oxer at 3. So Alexandra Ball, Mr. Candyman with those 11 penalties a moment ago for breaking the frangible. Greta Schwickert and Matchless are pretty much in that area of the course now, taking on the Coffin at 13, A, B and C. Clear 5 A, B and C for Katie Licton and Sapphire Blue. 7th after dressage on 34.2. Again, a clear inside the time could move them up within touching distance of an individual medal. So Alexandra was 6 minutes 31 as well on that second horse. So that's 3 seconds over, 1.2 time penalties and 11 for the frangible. Greta Schwickert and Matchless coming through the cavalry camp. They're on their way now to the western town, close to home, just 2 on course, Greta and Katie Licton. Katie, in the meantime, has jumped the Normandy bank at 7, is coming to the Tricator at the foot of the irrigation arm there in the center of the course. Just a reminder also, Maddie, as you are walking home, just to check in at the box, you know that. So, Greta Schwickert and Matchless getting great cheers for their finishing here over the last on the Young Rider track. Here is the final Young Rider competitor cross country today here at the event at Rebecca Farm. We're going to have our first international 2-star rider out, Bobby Meyerhoff, at 2 minutes before 10 o'clock. All very, very sticky coming into the duck. And clear the panel. Well ridden. Katie Licton, Sapphire Blue Beat. Winners of the 1-star at Pine Top. Top 10 at Young Riders. Katie has been on 2 different occasions. Clear fence 12, the cabin going on to the coffin 13, A, B and C for Katie Licton, Sapphire Blue Beat. Remember, clearing inside the time for Katie could move her right up the order here in this Young Rider Championships, the individual classification. Yeah, clearing inside the time could move Katie Licton up into 4th position. Our 3 medalists overnight holding those gold, silver and bronze medal positions. They didn't change, but Katie Licton could move up from 7th overnight to 4th with a clearing inside the time. Clear the Louisiana Bayou now for our last Young Rider coming on towards home. Our leader going into cross country or into show jumping tomorrow is going to be on 30.8. And Katie could be on 34.2, so less than 1 pole behind. So not just in touch of an individual medal, but maybe even in touch of the continental title. So clear the Rock Ox, just a couple of fences to go. 2 complexes amongst them, however, in the cavalry camp. There's both parts there. No. Thinking about the time, of course, just opens this grey horse up here on the long flat straight towards the western town. So Flint Star and Ryan Keefe, who can finish the day no lower than 5th, having been clearing inside the time. They are looking very closely to see whether Katie and Sapphire Blue Bee pick up any time penalties. They're the western town coming on towards the last balancing the speed, thinking about the time with the need to just absolutely prepare for each and every jump on the course. They pass between the finish flags, we think just outside the time allowed of 6 minutes 28 seconds, the optimum time, and therefore they might just tumble down the order, putting Flint Star into fourth position. .4 time penalties, 21 seconds over the optimum by our reckoning there for Katie Licton and Sapphire Blue Bee. That'll see them go down the order. So we're going to be moving around our fence judges now onto the longer two-star track for the CCIs. As I say, 2 minutes to 10 will be our first horse and rider combination out, Bobby Meyerhoff and Albano.